Hi, my name is Stephen Buffalo. I'm the President and CEO of the Indian Resource Council of Canada. And also, I'm the Chairman, founding board member of the Alberta Indigenous Opportunities Corporation from Calgary, Alberta. You know, it is an honor to speak here, and I think our messaging that we left here today is that we need unity. You know, we need unity with First Nations, we need unity with governments, and we need unity with industry and proponents, you know, to make our quality of lives in First Nations communities a lot better, you know, and we want to find a better way, you know, and given the fact that, you know, we're on the West Coast and there's opportunity corridor gateway to the world markets, I think that's something that we have to look at. Well, right now it's just discussion and talk. You know, I was so honored to be here, first time here, and seeing what impacts currently are in the community of Kitimat and in this area, traditional territory of the Haisla. You know, it definitely sets an example, you know, for more development, and you know, we can take a lot of lessons learned from this area, and I think, you know, going forward there'll be meaningful discussion, you know, to see how we can progress going forward. Yes. It was important for me to attend Nation2Nation this year because, you know, we had to kind of start the dialogue somewhere, you know, and I, as a First Nation advocate for First Nation communities that produce oil and gas, you know, they want to see what other markets are available. And then also create some continuity, some unity with other First Nations that, you know, are impacted as well, you know, and you have upstream, midstream, and downstream opportunities for all this natural resource development. And we're all in the same boat when it comes to having initiatives to find unique ways to finance our communities, to provide services that we want to put in place. And how we do that, it's going to be through the natural resource sector. So having dialogue, talking about issues that we're worried about, talking about issues on being inclusive, I think that's really important. So it is important to come have those discussions, at least talk today, and then set up future meetings going forward. I think these Nation2Nation having these annual forums is really important. You know, you have to keep that relationship with the proponents, with industry, and invite government speakers, and then find unique ways to find success in this algorithm of meeting the community's needs. You know, and I think we're at that stage right now of identifying certain protocols, certain consent issues, you know, and it goes further. How do we all participate in a financial business deal, you know, going forward? And what are the supports to do this? You know, and of course, you know, Alberta being the first to have a loan guarantee program with capacity funding, I think it's a start. You know, and then the fact that, you know, we can help nations from different jurisdictions, provincial jurisdictions, is really good. And I think it set a precedent. You know, now there's a national program, so having discussion is really important. You know, my experience here at the Nation2Nation Forum has been nothing but tremendous. You know, I see a lot of familiar faces, and also want to meet more and more people from the traditional areas. And of course, sharing culture, sharing some of our ceremonies, and sharing some of our stories, I think is really good for both sides. You know, and this area is beautiful. You know, it's pristine, and of course, you know, with development, you want to make sure you protect, you know, what you have, protect the environment. And if there's a go forward of more development, we got to find that balance and talk about our economic development and protecting this environment, protecting the fish, protecting everything that is important to the traditional people of the Haisla and the Western Coastal Nations. Yeah, very important. I look forward to doing more and more meetings with not only the Western Coastal Nations, but coming here and seeing more of the opportunities and listening to the stories. I want to learn about the ocean. I want to learn about the animals in the area. I want to learn about the traditional medicines that are here, you know, and because it's important to us, you know, and that's what we have, you know, is why we're Indigenous people, why we're First Nations people, is because we were here first. And in this whole algorithm of the national nation building projects, we're the constant. You know, politicians change, CEO of companies change, Indigenous relations people change, but we're always still here. That's what it is. Yeah.